Anyway, welcome everyone to For the Minions, the weekly vodcast podcast, because Mangoose can't decide what it is. That I'm one of your hosts, Jellinese, and with me, as always, is my friend and co-host, Mangoose Schmangoose. And how are you doing this week, Mangoose?
What an excellent introduction, Jelly. I am so impressed. I didn't know you were going to do it. That's amazing. Joining us this week, we have Devil Spawn coming back to us, a pro Paragon player from the past. How you doing, Devil Spawn?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm ready to, talk about all of the things.
All right.
You went a little Bill Cosby on us for a second. I'm doing a fantastic Mangoose on the...
And the pudding.
in the jello. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your favorite hero in Paragon, how you got started and all that stuff. Just to remind them, you have been on the show before, but let's get that done.
Right. So my favorite hero has always been Sparrow. Love Sparrow. I'm a carry main. I played in Paragon during the alpha, the beta, the everything until version 42 because I was not having it. I was like, I'm done.
Understandable.
And then Fortnite killed my favorite game, so that's why I don't play Fortnite. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I also do not play Fortnite.
They got rid of building, Mangoose. Now you can actually be just as bad as the other noobs.
The only time I ever killed anybody in Fortnite was that fucking pickaxe anyway, so...
All right. Mangoose is committed to playing Fortnite. That's it. Vilify him, cancel him, he's out.
Dude, I have 0 hours on Fortnite. Okay?
Mangoose
0.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about the updates. Let's talk about Pred first again, because people are still pretty hyped up over that stress test, and they've been releasing a lot of stats about the test, like their total players. There was 68,000 plus. Average match length was 27 minutes, which I think is probably the most impressive stat that they released. And total minutes played 11,018,840. And yeah, let's talk about that stuff, and let's talk. And Devil Spawn, let's get your impressions of the Predecessor stress test. I'm assuming you played it. Did you play it?
Yeah, I played it. I didn't get a whole lot of time in it, but I did get, a decent amount because, work, and I have to be up at 4 a.m. in the morning every day for work and stuff, so, it's fine. Other than that...
A real gamer would play at work and get fired, okay?
When I have to save lives as a AAA dispatcher, that can't happen. So yeah, let's go.
You could save lives as Narbash, okay? Come on.
You can save digital lives. They're more important.
That's fair.
I didn't say that. I didn't take that stance.
That's fair. So I actually really liked the stress test. It was very... not stressful. I loved how it has always been the one that felt the most like Paragon back in the day. So I liked it on that standpoint. But from these numbers, that's a lot of minutes for me personally. Like, I can see, gamers going wild, but I don't see 11 million minutes being played.
So I did the math in that with that in mind. Based on the figures that they gave, right? If you divide the 11 minutes by 27, and then divide the number you get of that by the amount of players that they say, the 68,000, that is 6 games per player over the course of that weekend.
Oh, I can see that.
I can see that,
actually.
yeah.
So 6 games, yeah.
And that is, there are definitely people like Mangoose and I can't say for you, Devil, but Mangoose and I played significantly more than 6 games. So we make up for the people that played 1 game and got off or didn't like it or whatever. So yeah. 6 games per player is what the average comes out to.
I think I played exactly 6. I was
so you are just average. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
and I did every roll too.
There you go.
Every roll and then carry twice. So
I'm a little interested to know how they calculate these numbers. That was my thought when I saw this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they smudge their numbers or bullshit or anything. What I'm saying is I would just like to know the behind the scenes, does that count every player's experience, or does that count each match, or does a team count for 27 minutes, but then the other team also counts for 20? I don't know how they got to that number, but it's still an impressive fucking number.
Also, one other thing that I saw on Facebook that you didn't mention, there was 5 seconds in between like match queues were like ridiculously short, which was really cool. Like you instantly could get a match if you wanted one.
And then I didn't put it on here, but like the highest win rate hero was Narbash, the lowest win rate hero was Kalari, and the least picked hero was poor Gadget. Which I understand that.
I understand.
And
Gadget's complicated.
I saw maybe one gadget over the course of the entire weekend, so that did not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah.
Gadget's
just complicated.
She is. And her mind was kind of small. And her passive is designed to be played the way I play Gadget, which is to run into the middle of a team fight, which most people just try and stand back and bomb.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to say it's the correct way to play Gadget, but the way I've always been successful with Gadget is by building a little bit of armor on her, getting into the middle of a team fight and blocking people from getting out of my ultimate, blocking people from getting out of my seek and destroy, and, putting the mines on my own head so that they explode and kill people, and giving her a passive that gives her an exploding shield whenever she takes damage just supports that style of gameplay. And I think most of the really good Gadgets I've gone against, they get up close and personal, and people just don't do that with Gadgets. So I don't think people probably did not like the way she was designed for Predecessor.
Probably the other thing is she's not very flashy when it comes to like.
Not at all.
Because when you throw your bomb, you don't see the bomb like the other person sees it on their head. But like with a Gideon, you see a giant rock pop out of the sky into someone's face. So
there's definitely a lot more cool factor in other heroes compared to Gadget.
Yeah.
It's that 1930s football helmet that she's wearing that just turns people off.
But I gotta say, speaking of cool factor, I don't know why Kalari was the lowest win rate.
I know.
Her cool factor was through the roof, doing fadeaway dagger shots with her stupid post-bleed nonsense, whatever the heck that thing was.
Fade away, triple jumping.
I think Kalari was low-key the most powerful hero in Predecessor, but it required a skill level that people could not achieve within 3 days.
Yep.
Right.
And that's most reminiscent to me of old Paragon Kalari before she got reworked. Is she was terrible for someone that did not know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But when the game first came out, I basically one-tricked Kalari and quickly got up to one of the higher win rate of Kalari players because it was once you figure it out and you learn how to play her exactly the way she needs to be, she can just dominate.
I think that's why, like, in my one tournament that I did, Kalari was banned. Like, we banned Kalari. We're like, no, we are not playing with this champion. It's not happening.
Not even going to deal with it. Yeah, she's a really high skill cap hero, and it was a mishmatch of people coming back into the game that hadn't touched the third person MOBA in forever, or what have you, playing that Pred stress test. So
the thing I'm surprised about is how Narbash came out on top for the win rate. I thought it would be Kai, since he's so easy to play, like easy just to pick up and play.
But Narbash is the easier of the two supports to pick.
3 supports.
There were a lot of jungler choices.
4
there were a lot of offlane choices. 4 supports?
Richter, Steel.
I wasn't counting Steel.
Muriel and
Narbash. I forgot about Richter too, to be honest. I was thinking just Muriel. And
you
Narbash.
Forgot about Magus's main?
Yeah, I did, because he's that forgettable, especially when Magus plays him.
That's probably because I didn't play him much in the stress test. It was all Faye, baby.
Yeah, the only time you played him was, I think, or one of the times you played him was a game with me, and you kept complaining about missing hooks, so I was not impressed. But he's fine. The easiest of the supports that were in the game to just pick up and play. It was very straightforward. Okay. He's very easy comparatively to Muriel, Bellica, Steel, Richter. There's a lot more.
There were a lot of supports
with all of those
that you could play in that stress test. It was a lot.
Whatever.
Narbash is just
roll. Okay,
he's just always effective, and it's easy to be effective with him, and he's especially effective with the items that Predecessor has, with all the AOE sort of stuff that they have, because he likes to be in the, with a Muriel doesn't want to be up front with the tanks in a team fight. Narbash does, and he's radiating that whatever power he has from his items to everybody. So yeah, I could definitely see Narbash being top win rate. I had a game with Howitzer where we didn't have a support and they had a Narbash. It made a huge difference late game. Huge difference.
And exactly that. He's the anti-howitzer, anti-Gideon support.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
Richter is too to an extent, but Narbash just straight line thunks him. What are you gonna do now? Right? Like it's that simple. Shuts him down very quickly and easily. No
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah. The other thing is like he's relevant all the time. Like there's late game supports, there's early game supports, but he's all the time. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about all I had to say about Predecessor for this week. I'm sure if you guys want to dig into it further, go right ahead.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, sweet. Let's move on. Let's move on to Overprime. Even though Fault had a lot of updates, we're going to get into that. But Overprime, they had another community corner, and then they released another gameplay video with some of the updates that they've had for Overprime, and some of the things that that caught my eye. There was a new map intro, which Jelly, you nailed it. Oh, did you see this video? The Sparrow video?
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
there's
Sparrow
a capsule
is,
shooting
like,
out of the
Mhm.
yep.
I called
definitely
The tinfoil Titan does it again.
it. That's me,
Jeez,
man.
man.
I've never retired. You know, I'm still here.
So then they had a new UI. They had a ping system themselves. They had excellent new item art, a huge upgrade from their old item art.
yeah.
And yeah, that was just they said that they were going to change a lot, and they did, and they've changed it quick. That stress test was their closed beta test was
Months ago?
January.
Yeah.
And we're in April.
We're in April. They've already changed all of this stuff. So
Good track record, yeah. Oh dude, that Sparrow video you posted though, that's definitely a Korean Sparrow. Like holy crap, dude.
Dude, she just dominated.
they
I
were
was
like
I can't do that well, dude. Come on.
they were in like the streamer only Discord of Overprime talking about, hey, was it this person? Is it who I think it is? They're like, oh, it might be. And they're going back and forth. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, I have no idea. I'm so lost. Like, they all seem to know who that was on the Sparrow. I have no
Interesting.
fucking idea who it was. But,
Uh,
but yeah, they were good. They were good.
yeah.
Then the other thing coming out of their community corner, and I don't know how to feel about this,
Yeah.
partnership with Metaverse Entertainment that creates digital idols. We've already seen Rena. They kind of introed their last closed beta test. She's like a fake Instagram model. She's a real Instagram model, but she's a fake person. She's not a real person.
Mhm.
She's digital. But they're going to add several of these digital idols into Overprime. And we have seen gameplay from one of them, the one with the red jacket and the sword.
Mhm.
We saw that a long time ago with where she does like kind of a Kalari sort of ultimate. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I think it might be overkill with the.
I agree. I think it's a little overkill. Like they may be reaching out to, a unique set of players, but you might get like mixed reactions from that unique set of players that's gonna hurt you in the long run, in my view.
So I think for me, I don't think it's intended for the West. I think for us,
That
this
makes
this
sense.
is not a thing that we are accustomed to. Right? It's barely scratching the surface over here. In the East, though, this is huge because they're all enveloped in that kind of culture.
Okay.
So we've been saying, Mangus, for months now that Overprime will exist here, but it's way more likely to be a bigger thing in the East. And I think this is just for that.
Yeah.
That they're really pushing for that Eastern market. Which
Okay.
I can't blame them. I can't say that I expect Predecessor or Fault to hit that same market in the same way.
Yeah, true.
I just think it's weird because Adele's kind of like a cute little chick. Then they've got Rena, and then they've got whoever this other girl is. It's like just a cavalcade of cute chicks. You'll never hear me complain about a cavalcade of cute chicks until now. Like, get some variety in there. Like, get some. If you're going to design a new hero, make them cool. Make them like Marsh or like Hatch or something. Give us a beast. Give us something really cool to play with. Not just another fucking.
Dude.
Not just a Shinbi knockoff. This is an insult to Shinbi players. That's what this
So
is.
they're going. You said they were going to add all of the Paragon people. So we got. I don't remember what the Elsa person was called.
Aurora?
The like Aurora. Yeah, Aurora. They got Aurora. They got. They're probably going to do Decker. That's the thing. I could see like they got a ton of like people that they haven't added that just fit that style
Yeah.
of
Well.
marketing.
But the community corners themselves, though, have been absolutely amazing. They really, they've got nice little edits. Of course, they're in Korean, but you can just watch them with subtitles. But they've been really, really good. Very informative, but still entertaining. They remind me so much of the original OG, epic community corners that had, Mooney and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Those were really good. And these are really good, too, so... I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that. Yeah. And then, of course, they have their 11-day closed beta test coming soon. We still don't know when. Not sure when. My guess is May, but we'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully soon. I can't wait.
Hopefully soon, because, with the Predecessor stress test, I feel like they should put something out for us to play.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to it because Overprime is fucking fun. I've been seeing a lot in the comments oh, that's bullshit that they removed the tower, and that's bullshit that, yeah, it kind of is. I thought that too. When I came into Paragon, I was like, what the fuck are they doing to Paragon? But then when I actually played the game, I was like, you know what? This is fucking fun. I don't give a shit. This is really fun.
We could just get under an hour-long games, it'd be great.
Well, you can equate it to, so, for instance, there's so I'm just going to use two terms. There's League of Legends, which is longer games. You have the 35 to 45 minute games. Then you have the Heroes of the Storm, which, is not as popular, but it has the same format where you have one tower, then keep, then core. Done. And it's a lot shorter games. So you could have different communities for each one.
Yeah, removing towers is a surefire way to shorten game times, you'd think. I guess I should say.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They seem to take all the health and power from that middle tower and just put it on the front tower. It took a while to get that initial tower down. Unless you were the cracked fucking Sparrow from their video.
If we could get under hour-long games, and if I could cast more than 2 abilities, I'd be happy.
It did look like from that video that the mana problem was solved a little bit. It looked like people were able to cast a couple of abilities before having to go back.
But it was
I forgot about that shit. No, I was watching the Muriel and the Grox and all that shit.
All right.
I am excited for Muriel because Prime Dunk exists.
Oh, yep. Muriel just backs.
I want Muriel Dunk to exist because, and I will fight anybody in the comments of this video about this, but Prime Dunk is a completely balanced mechanic on Muriel. And I will fight anybody to the ends of the earth on this concept, man.
Dude, Case, you just sit in base.
I really hope it exists in this game.
But
she was in the last beta test.
I didn't see anybody try it though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody do a Muriel Dunk, and I
was too obsessed with playing Kayla that I didn't test it myself. But this next test, I absolutely will because I need to know. I really hope it is, man.
But what would be cool? So if you think about it, it's perfectly balanced because it puts your team in a 4v5 situation for the fight, and then Muriel has to actually go in to get the dunk. So it's balanced. I agree with you.
It's not balanced.
Oh man, I will fight you on this, man.
Speaking of Muriel, in their work in progress, they had a new skin for Muriel. It's a K-pop idol skin. No, I'm just kidding. It's like an Astro Muriel skin or something like that. Pretty cool looking. She had a halo. She had a red halo. Thought that was kind of neat.
She's always kind of had that angelic look, right?
Yeah.
So
give her a fucking halo.
All right, so we're probably gonna get a devil skin of one of the other characters. It's fine.
I hope we get a devil skin of Muriel, so you could have either Angel or Devil Muriel. That
would be cool.
Overprime, listen up. We want a devil skin. Ooh, and give her bat wings. In her devil skin? Yeah. In a bikini.
Because she's winged, there could be so many skin lines that Paragon didn't even attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, that's about all I had for Overprime. Do you guys have anything else?
Nope.
Let's move on to Fault. They just announced right before we were starting to record this, patch 16.1. I'm just going to go through and list off some of the things that I thought was kind of important from the patch. We're not going to go through every single fucking patch note, but the game size has been reduced from 53 gigs to 14 gigs, so that was a big one for their optimization. Region selector removed and replaced with ping-based matchmaking. We're going to be talking quite a bit about that. An interactive scoreboard, so you could ping the scoreboard. new items, smoother animations, several bug fixes, especially on the map, a new kind of hilarious chat filter, and then the last hitting lifesteal that Jelly you brought up towards the end. So let's go through this, starting with the optimization. How the fuck did they bring the game from 53 to 14 gigs?
I know
That
the
is
answer to this.
nuts.
Okay. I have the answer because this is something that we've talked about in the Ethereal dev team, and so I have an understanding about this. Faults, when they first came out, were closer to that 14 gigabyte size when they a year and a half ago, whatever it was. Every patch has not been replacing and removing files; it has been adding new files every single time. So every single patch, it's been getting mildly bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's why you end up with a 54 gigabyte game over the course of almost 2 years now. Is that over every single patch, they're adding a couple hundred megabytes. And so it just stacks up and stacks up and stacks up. So I'm stoked to see that they finally,
cool.
theoretically, figured that out, how to make it not do that. And it'll stay much closer to this 14 gigabyte size until they actually add new content that increases that size.
That should clean up the game quite a bit. Like, that might be why, because every time they do a patch, their optimization shits the bed and you can't get it high frames at all. Maybe that's why. It's because it's just adding more burden to the load. But now that load's gone, hopefully we can start. Well, I can already run Fault on all Epic settings at 60 frames per second, but
I think
that does go.
SMS settings. We don't talk about Epic here, okay?
Epic destroyed my favorite game, okay?
I've got it on Fortnite settings. Now, let's talk about this region selector removed and replaced with ping-based matchmaking. So you don't queue NA East, you don't queue EU, you don't queue SA, you just queue, and then it automatically matches you with people of similar ping as best as it can.
So what you're saying is I won't be able to get in a match until after NA dinner. So like 8 p.m. my time. Is what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay.
So this was a choice, right? Like, plain and simple. This was something that I'm sure was not an easy decision for them to make. I think we talked about it a little bit before the show, but Mangoose, you said that this is a good decision for them. And I completely agree with that. This is something that, because so many NA players already queue EU and vice versa, right? This makes that line easier to cross, and it just makes it easier for players to get into games theoretically.
That's true.
The issue is that this system can be abused to hell and back. And I'd imagine how it works, because this is how the majority of games do it, is the longer you're in queue, the more of a threshold it gives you to queue with in terms of ping. So if you start a queue with 5 ping, and then 5 minutes later, you may be at a range between 0 and 50 ping. And so I imagine that that's how theirs is going to work, because that's just the most simplistic way that makes sense.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, but so it's one of those 50-50 things. I think this can go bad very fast, but I do think it was a good decision for them as a company.
Yeah, I think this would be a horrible, horrible decision for anybody else but Fault. Like, I think this is great for Fault, because what's been happening is people just know that, you know, during the day for NA, during the afternoon NA, you just auto queue EU because nobody's going to be queued NA. Then you get to EU and nobody wants to fucking pick ADC because they're all on NA and they all have high ping because they're playing EU. So if people would just queue, if all the NA players that queue in the EU servers at that time of day would just queue NA, they would get games. And this is going to solve that. This is going to make it to where you get games matched up with decent ping. And then vice versa, in late night EU can queue, and then they'll still get games if all the EU players were normally queuing NA at a certain point in time. So this will just help them have people, because a lot of people get into Fault and they try and queue up for a match. They don't understand why they can't get into a match. They're like waiting 15 minutes. If you're waiting 15 minutes for a match in Fault, then you need to switch your region. But with this, you no longer have to switch your region. Then they had the interactive scoreboard. This is amazing And
Amazing.
I
Yep.
love that they have this. This is kind of the strength of Fault, is they have been a live game for so long that they can add these sort of nice to haves instead of must haves. And this is definitely this is the border. This is a nice to have, must have. Like, I don't know why this wasn't in Paragon, but you can click the scoreboard now. You can ping the scoreboard. Like, the scoreboard shows you like the Fangtooth respawn time and the Prime Orb respawn time and Red Buff respawn time. You can click that now, and it'll alert your team that, hey, Fangtooth is up, or Fangtooth is about to respawn, or the enemy team's Red Buff is almost up. So you know that that's where the jungler might be going. This is going to be absolutely amazing. Jelly, what are your thoughts on the interactive scoreboard?
Big fan. Big fan. Especially as a jungler, being able to ping that like Raptors coming up instead of having to type like Raptors in 30 seconds, right? Like that to me is a insanely valuable tool. Or tell my carry, be like, okay, click the red buff, says 20 seconds left, carry, go get that in 20 seconds, right? Like, just very plain and simple. Keep it easy, keep it concise, but give my team as much information as possible. Devil, what about you? What do you think about this?
I think it's actually really good, because a lot of times as well, because League has this, and for instance, if you see someone go on a random weird build and you want to pick their items, it's actually one of the coolest things to do. It's like, why are you going attack damage on this mage? What are you doing? But yeah, it's really cool. And then like, I hope that we can ping the like augment points or favor points is what they're called. That'll be cool, because then you can be like, hey, retreat. They have a lot more power than you do.
Yeah. No, I think it's super valuable for them for sure.
I think this, in a roundabout way, will make players better, too, once they realize that they should have been looking at their scoreboard throughout the game. Because there's a lot of stuff you need to see on there. Like, you want to know when Bellica picks up a blink, because it's like, hey, watch your cornhole, she's going to blink behind you and delete you before you can react. So, like, being able to ping stuff like that, or, like, ping that somebody has Ring of Rejuvenation is like, hey, maybe don't dump all your CC into them so that they don't regen all that health back, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Cool stuff. And they had some new items. They were all cleave items. They're all different color variations of cleave.
Yeah.
Jelly, I know you had something to say about this.
Dude, these are ballsy to add into a game that already has cleave by itself, right? And that's part of the reason I say that is the items in Predecessor during this last stress test that gave you additional cleave, or at least some kind of AoE burst, made jungle clears the easiest thing on the planet. Because not only did you auto-execute jungle minions, you then also had a cleave, right? And it's just super, super easy. So being able to like pick an item that says, yes, I want more of that, thank you, is a ballsy move. Especially when basic attack heavy junglers are already very prevalent in Vault.
Yes, they
because
are.
This only empowers them. This doesn't empower ability-based junglers nearly as much.
Yeah. The other thing I think is huge is, for instance, me and Mangus played a Vault game earlier, and we literally had like 8 people standing on top of each other with more cleave, those fights, and faster.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the fact, looking at it real quick, the green and purple cleaver items build out of the gray cleaver item.
Mm-hmm.
So the gray one is a component, which means I can get 20% additional cleave out of a component. That is insane.
and
Well,
so
call
That's not the final item boost blows my mind.
I imagine that item is probably going to cost about 900 gold.
Which is not enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because honestly, even if I'm not going for one of the fuller cleave items, I could easily purchase just the basic one and enhance my clear so much that
you
it
just
pays for
gig
itself.
crazy.
Yeah, the time saved pays for it.
I think that's something people overlook in Fault too, is that some of the component items are really good. So you don't really, especially if you're playing support, you don't need finished items, but like, if you can get the reflect damage item, it doesn't reflect as much damage as Thorn Shield, but you can pick it up a hell of a lot sooner. And then you can pick up, like, the item that slows people on basic attacks. You can pick that up. You can pick up the blight item that stops people's healing and stuff. That's a really good route to go in Vault.
It actually says it's 1,200 gold. I can't read.
Oh, really? Okay.
But the crazy thing to me is it's not just the cleave passive. So the basic, it's called Rend Cleaver, gives you increased cleave, 20% additional cleave damage. Great. That is super good by itself. Yeah. It also comes with an active effect that does damage, flat damage plus 50% of your base attack damage, I assume is what that acronym is, in a 600 unit radius around you. So I press a button and it bursts out around me and does damage.
That's a big area.
This is what my point is, Maggie's like, this is broken if you're playing the right characters. Predecessor had an item almost exactly like this, not in the most recent stress test, but in previous ones, that it gave you additional cleave damage, and when you pressed an active, it did a burst around you, and that was the best fighter item in the entire game, because it's not just damage to minions, right? It's not just damage to minions now. Now I press an active, and it bursts damage out all over the place.
It's like having a double basic.
1,200 gold.
Yeah.
It gives you physical power and attack speed on top of both of those things. Like, this is just the new jungle item. Sorry, ability-based junglers, you all just fell out of the meta with this patch.
It's
bad.
Yeah, the crazy thing is you're now going to see a Kai just jump on to like 4 people go, okay, bye.
Boop. What you're going to see is a Feng Mao preload his shield, dive in, hamstring, his shield explodes, then he activates this.
And then he goes, hey, ult, guess what? All of you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's... I mean, so giving 50% of your base attack damage is not a lot, because you're not... Of course, it's your base, it's not additional. But still... Like,
it's something.
It's gonna... And it's on a 15-second cooldown.
That's nothing. I could
theoretically use that twice in one fight, depending on the fight.
Yeah.
That's a Richter hook cooldown. That's nothing.
That's nuts, dude. I'm stoked. Honestly, it makes me want to play jungle so bad. Style on some kids with it, man.
And moving on to another thing, animation smoothing. They use the word smoothing. I don't even think that's
smoothing.
I don't even think that's a word. But they have smoother animations. Like, the animations are going to flow a little better. They specifically showcased Grux, but I don't know if this is going to be for everybody or what. I didn't really have too many problems with their animations in the past. Like, I especially thought Crunch was done really well. But I anything that makes the game better, fuck it.
I think some of their older characters have some clunky animations that, like, they just don't mesh well with each other. But I don't think they were bad by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think with the animation, it tells us that they're paying attention to even the small details, which is really cool too.
So one thing I just read on this that I am beyond stoked for, assuming it means what I think it means, is hero physics. Added physics to a large amount of the heroes in the game, including support for the main menu. Chimera's tassels on his axes have never had physics in the main menu, and it has driven me up a wall.
I didn't even notice that in the patch notes.
I'm just seeing it as I look at it. If his tassels have physics now, I will leave a positive review of Fault on the Steam store, and I will literally put Chimera's tassels have physics. That will be my review. If it is, I am not even kidding. I will do it right now.
I don't have the patch notes up. Do they have Feng Mao on there? Because his chain just stuck out straight too.
His chain does the same thing. It doesn't say heroes are affected. It just says to a large amount of heroes.
Okay, awesome.
So I will do it.
Sevrog's another one. His very, very stiff robes.
If they fix Bellich's witch hat, I will, dude. I will.
That's something Windu brings up all the time. Like, every time we have
since release, her hat has been too far on her head.
Sets atop her bun.
Check for my review. I swear to God, I'll do it.
Dude, you got to post in the comments though.
They also included several bug fixes. A vast majority of them were map bug fixes, and thank God. But
no more falling through the map.
I don't want to say anything until I actually play after this patch, because it seems like every time they fix something wrong with the map in one place, something else pops up somewhere. It's like they push down here, but it pops up here. You know what I mean?
100%.
But hopefully they've got it under control finally, because that is super. Like, your own inhibitor would kill you because you just couldn't run past the lip.
Mhm.
And there was I finally found what it was. There's a small lip on a rock heading into red jungle that you would get caught on and get stuck on. But it sounds like they fixed quite a few bugs, which they needed to do.
Yeah. Another big one that I see people complain about a lot that I have experienced once or twice, but that's just because that's what I am, who I am, is draft dodging PvE games, AI games, gives you a temporary ban.
Yeah.
You can't queue for 5 minutes, or increasingly, depending on how many times you do it. Right? So if I want to go into the game and test one thing and then be like, oh, great, now I have to play a 25-minute game or I get a 5-minute ban. Thanks so much. Like, so I'm really happy to see that has been fixed, because I know that's a gripe for a lot of newer players. Is that like, oh, I didn't buy the hero that I wanted to play, but now if I Alt F4 out of the game or quit, it's going to give me a 5-minute ban timer. Like, that's ridiculous for AI matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they had Devil and I were looking at this earlier. The chat filter, they added in.
This is the funniest thing ever.
The functionality to replace, if you say something mean or inappropriate, it will replace your comment with a selected selection of their own comments. Jelly, you have the patch notes up. Can you read some of that stuff off?
I do. Yeah. So the things that if you say a flagged word or phrase, it may replace it with are "I love you," "I'm having so much fun," "We got this, guys. Keep up the hard work," "We can win," "This game is so much fun," "I love SMS," "I love Fault," "I think this is the best game ever," "Everyone is doing great," "Good job," "Great job." There you go. That's all of them.
You know what? I used to say all of these phrases all the time, but now people are going to think I'm just trying to curse at them.
Yeah.
Magnus, what are you
every single
doing?
game.
You see me in every game. I love
saw you
SMS.
say, like, I love SMS and Predecessor. I mean, like, it just
Dude,
forced a
they
habit
missed-
for you.
They missed GG.
Yeah, they did.
Good
They
game.
did. Another thing too, I hope they fixed like you couldn't type the word caboose.
Oh, there's some weird words that are flagged. It's so funny.
I can say asshole, but I can't say caboose. In their chat, it's so weird.
I am not for fault, but in Predecessor, I was trying to ask what button something was, and it flagged the word button because I put button. It was like, oh, that's a banned word. It's in a different word, but that's a banned word. You can't.
Can't be saying butt or caboose. Jesus. What do you think of this chat filter, Devil? You're cracking up about it.
The chat filter I find is super hilarious. And the crazy thing is, like, I've actually in many of my league matches typed like, "We got this, guys. We can win. Let's do this." So I'm like, now I'm gonna feel like I'm cursing at them, so I can't say this phrase. So yeah,
I love that. I love their example of it too. You see somebody typing "Chimera is a pussy," but before it types it all the way out, it like lowers so you can't see what he says. But then when the chat pops up, it's like, "We're doing great, guys," or some shit like that.
I love you.
Oh man, it's so good. It's a brilliant feature. I've been saying for Ethereal, because I've seen this in other games too, where it does this exact thing, right? And I've been saying for Ethereal that we have to have the same thing, because it's so good. And it's so good when someone does it for the first time and you're an ally on their team or something, and you see one of the canned messages and you're like, oh, that guy tried to cuss me out. Or especially after you died, where you're the one that they're trying to flame. It's like, I love you. Thank you. I love you
man.
too.
I
Right?
love
Like,
you,
oh,
man.
I can imagine them getting so angry.
one of
Oh,
those tilt the tilters things, right? Oh man, big
My
fan.
friend
Big,
loves
big, big,
this.
big fan.
One of the people I play in League loves to just egg on to tilters. So he would be the one to do this too.
the last thing I want to talk about is last hitting lifesteal. This is something I figured out a long time ago when I was just fucking around in PvE and Fault. Is like, it doesn't matter how much lifesteal you have. It's always dependent on how much health the minion or whoever has. So if the minion has 10 health and you've got 10% lifesteal, you only get like one life. You only get one health back, even if you dealt. Even if you're dealing like 500 damage or something like that, you still only get the one health back. They changed it so it's always how much damage you dealt, you get that much life back, which is
Good
A
change.
big change.
yeah.
It honestly could bring back the lifesteal meta single-handedly.
Yeah.
Because
Because you can have where you focus the carry. Carry doesn't have much health, but you're getting health back, so you actually have a priority target.
and that's the fact that a carry could walk into a side lane, farm a wave, and potentially go back to full health now.
Yeah.
Whereas before they couldn't do that. That's insane. Like
Yeah.
this is a big change. The thing that from what we talked about just in the today, let alone the full patch notes, is that this is a very meta shifting patch.
Yep.
Right? Is that things are going to change drastically because of the changes they made in this patch.
Exactly.
This is definitely going to affect carry and lane, but I think also we're going to see a lot of offlaners, maybe even mid laners taking T-Bow.
Yep.
I think you're going to see everybody taking T-Bow just for that lifesteal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Titan's armor is just too good sometimes, but I'm sure people will still try it. All right, that's everything I had for Fault. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about Fault?
Nope.
Devil, what did you think of Fault? Was that Devil and I played a game earlier. Was that the first time you've played Fault in a while, or?
Yeah, it was the first time I played Fall in a while. So I was in the crew. I was in the group that I played Fault at the beginning. Hated it because it looked awful optimization. Like, I had a computer at the time that could run Predecessor. Sorry, not Predecessor. That could run Paragon at epic quality, 60 frames, all of that. So I was like, why is my computer look like trash? What is happening?
Yeah.
So I was like, played one game. Nope. Back to League. And then played another game after that, and I was like, oh, hey, this might actually be fun now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's got its problems, but we had a pretty fun game.
Yeah.
It was a wild game. That was one of the wilder games of Fault I've played in a while. There was just so much fucking CC. Like, Devil spawns on Sparrow tried his
Just
best
trying
to hit people, and like I'm pulling them with Richter, and then they get pulled by Grux, and then Crunch comes along and pushes them way over here. Like Devil's like, oh, where do I shoot? Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, good times. Let's move on from Fault. Let's get into Ethereal. Ethereal hasn't released much of anything at all. Jelly, you got anything for us, or just still you guys still flying silent?
We're still flying low for the moment. When it happens, you'll know.
Under the old radar.
Oh.
So the last big update from Ethereal was the Talos skin and the Frost skin. Devil, did you see the Frost skin? Did you see Frost, the wolf phaser beast thing?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of that?
So I actually, for Ethereal, I love how unique all the characters are. Like, we're gonna have a quadruped that's just gigantic, and I'm like, what? Okay, this is cool. I'm gonna be like a. And then I really want them to do like a gorilla skin where he's all gray and.
Oh, you're talking about Grognard.
Yeah, Grognark. Yeah, from this giant, orange-looking quadruped dude to this gorilla-looking, thing. That would be cool. And then Frost is this wolf, and it's like very opposites. And you have Talos, two-handed, looks a little like Fang Mao, but obviously different because then you have Dante, which dual pistols, which
Always
actually
cool.
I loved playing
Always
Dante in the stress test. Thanks again, Jelly, for my code. Jelly's
No
actually
problem.
the one that gave me the code, so yeah.
Yeah, I do like how they're a mixture of sci-fi and fantasy, because Paragon was always a mixture
Yeah.
of sci-fi and fantasy. You had the Zeshan crew, like Grux and Morgesh and all them, that were obviously like very magical based, but then you had the technology guys like like Murdoch and Bellica and stuff like that, and you get a lot of that from Ethereal.
Right.
Pretty sweet stuff. Did you guys have anything else to say about Ethereal?
Not at the moment.
All right. I think we're going to ditch the topic of discussion yet again because we are at an hour. I like that. If I could keep these at an hour, I would be so happy. But yeah, we've just had a lot more to talk about lately. than normal with
Not a bad
actual
thing.
updates. Not a bad thing at all. If I could keep this show as just updates and no talking about topics, that would be cool. Although some of our topics are really fun to hit up. But yeah.
Tune in next week to the topic of will Mangoose grow any hair anytime soon?
I've got hair.
On your head.
I
Like
can
on top of it.
grow a little bit.
Funny thing. Okay, so now I'm gonna set a new meta for this. Mangoose, you can't prove me wrong here. We very rarely see the back of your head. You could easily have a rat tail that nobody ever has seen, and I would.
Do you want me to grow a rat tail?
Oh my god! Please, Mangoose. That would make my life so happy.
And then Maggo's like 54 the minions later, you go, "Hey Jelly, look at this," and you
whip
just
your
turn.
head around.
Oh
yes.
Oh,
now I've got
Mangoose.
An angrier Mangoose on the back of my head. A man of many faces. Any old school He-Man? He-Man fans?
I love it.
But before, like,
Many
I don't have
faces.
like anything to plug, which is the last thing you do. But I just wanted to say, if anyone like guest hosts, Mangoose loves guest hosts. You don't have to have a camera, just like me. I don't have a camera, and I've been on here 3 times. So
Yeah, see,
message Mangoose, and they'll get you in, and he actually responds. So do it.
So do it.
And if you have a camera but you're worried about being ugly, you couldn't be any uglier than Mangoose and I. So it's fine.
Oh, you're the pretty boy. You're the face of this program.
Oh, I mean, I knew that. But, like,
Speaking of pretty boys,
just because I'm slightly higher than you on the bar does not exactly make me pretty, right? Like you're on the ground and I'm just like a step up from there. So.
You're just a 2 next to a 1, you poor bastard.
Exactly. Next to you, I look gorgeous, but that's about it.
Oh shit, I'm the ugly friend. Sweet. The ugly friend has more fun. How about that?
I mean,
all right.
Yeah.
Jill, you got anything to plug?
Whatever you got to tell yourself, Mangoose. Nothing this week to plug, man. I'm just happy to be here. I'm having a good time today. So.
It was a fun show. I had a lot of fun this time. I got nothing to plug as usual. You know what? I think I might start streaming on Twitch because streaming on YouTube fucks up my algorithm for my videos. So I might start paying a little bit of attention to my goddamn Twitch channel.
Is
Is
it the same name?
I don't know. I might set up an entirely new Twitch channel with a completely different name and persona. I'm just kidding. It'll still be Mangoose or some shit like that.
Yeah, his account that's I am a furry 69420 is really hard to stream under. So you know.
But my name on Twitch is Mangoose GG, but everybody always goes Mangoose Egg.
Mangoose Egg.
Day 9 is like the only one that actually says my name correctly every time. I don't know why.
Is that Jelly
I'm
over
chopped liver. You know, I guess I'm the 2 next to the 1, so I guess I don't count as a person.
Yeah, but
anymore.
you know who I am. Like if people like barely know who I am or they don't or shit, you know. Anyway, yeah, you are chopped liver. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show. We certainly enjoyed recording this one, but that's going to be all for this week. Tune in next time for more exciting updates. But for now, this is the For the Minions crew signing off. You guys have a good one.
Bye.
Mangoose. Special shout out to channel members Foolish Bloodhunter, Jelly Knees, Meow Mix for Men, Stunt, Ferrith, and Raven.